live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber, stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber, she's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber, cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, from sequins to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine gaze. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. It's Amber Live tonight. The music starts to play and it's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Thank you. Hello there. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope your day was a good one. It was a pretty decent one here in Vermont. Oh, we got a great show lined up for you. But before we talk about anything else, I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. We're pushing, we're almost up to a milestone in our subscriptions. So we'd like to go over that tonight. So if you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you. All right. We got a lot to cover tonight. So let's bring Russell in to talk about it. Hey, Russell.
Hey, Amber. How are you tonight?
I can hear you, Russell.
You can't hear me.
Nope, I still can't
that's
hear
weird.
you. Nope.
I'm not.
Oh,
Can you
I
hear
don't
me
know.
now?
Can you guys hear Russell?
Everybody else can hear me.
I still can't hear you. Sorry, we were listening to earlier. Well, anyway, if I could hear Russell, now I just want to know if other people can hear Russell. Can anybody else? Oh, no, they say yes. I don't know, and I don't know what it is. So Craig can too. So go ahead and talk, Russell. Just point to me when you're done.
Well, I will then talk and talk away. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight is the best way to watch the show, which Amber usually introduces. And the best way to watch the show, we think, is YouTube or on Stream Ally. If you're watching on our website, which is amberlive.tv, you are watching the YouTube stream. And YouTube is great because it's full HD and you're going to love it there because you can see all the details about Amber. And then if you're watching on Stream Ally, you're also watching on a fantastic place. And we really appreciate that. So, well, that's interesting that Amber still can't hear me. So, and this is kind of fun. What did you say? We'll have to figure this one out.
All right, let's move on. You're freestyling me too. Oh my goodness.
On Wednesday nights we do Amber Chat, which is another great Amber Live function. You can come watch us and see Amber Chat. See, now I'm falling apart. Isn't that great? Wow, what an evening. What a way to start. Amber Chat's a lot of fun. We do it on Wednesdays. It's just Amber and I, and you can talk to us, ask Amber any questions you want. We have some great shows coming up. We have our 1-year anniversary on the 21st, which is going to be an absolutely amazing show. We're going to have some past guests on, and Amber's going to see what they've been up to. And then in April on Easter, on the 4th, we're having our Sap Tappin' Mud Flappin' review with lots of great people from the Beaver Pond community coming in and doing a great review for you. And then Amber loves this part of the show because she knows it's my favorite part, and that's the Bustiers. We've got our super Bustiers, Rial, Janet, John, and Larry, and all of our other Bustiers who really do help us out. You can see down at the bottom, it says Venmo at RJD Pro, and you can send us a tip there and help keep the show going, maybe help get Amber's sound back. In addition to Venmo, if you're watching on Stream Ally, there's an in-stream tipping system you can use in the chat. And we really do appreciate all of your help. If you donate $25 or more, we'll send you a free Amber Live sticker. If we donate $100 or more, you get a sticker and a magnet. And if you donate $200 or more, you get a sticker, a magnet, and a mug, which will be fantastic. We have some great mugs out there. So can you hear me now, Amber? Can you turn the sound on your computer? Well, that's going to be...
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, Russell. Now, can you hear me? Just nod your head, yes, because I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, I'm going to jump in.
Hi,
Can
Jack.
either of you hear me right now?
I can't hear Jack either.
Then it must be on your end.
Yeah, so that would be on Amber's end. Let me send her a private chat here.
Kick her out of the room and have her come back in.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Put her in timeout for a minute. Hey, how's it going?
Can you hear that? Let's see. Edit mic settings. I can't change her sound. Well, this is not good. How about now? Can you hear us?
Unmuted me. It says the host is unmuted.
You, Amber.
Still can't hear you. Fuck.
This is the technical show. We were wondering if maybe Amber's headphones are
close
disconnected.
Down, Russell, and pop back up. Is that what I should do?
Hang on.
Damn it.
Welcome to Sunday night, everyone.
Let's try it the old-fashioned.
Hi, Russell.
Hi, Amber. Can you check the sound settings and see if you're connected?
I don't know how else. I didn't change anything since our pre-show.
Well, can you change it over to the computer speakers?
And how would I do that?
Under the sound settings.
Yes.
It should give you options
For mic or speaker?
for speaker. Your mic is working.
Okay. Headset, speakers, communications, default.
It's like default. Or
What?
speakers. You said there was headset and speakers, right?
Yeah.
Try speakers.
All right. Still can't hear it. All right. I don't know why, because we do a pre-show check every week, and this didn't happen. So, Russell, if you can hear me, let's. I think, did you cover everything about our guests and who they are?
I have not yet gone into the guests.
Okay, I just heard you. Okay. All right,
Can
go
you
ahead.
hear me on your headset?
Yeah, so through the computer. We're fine now. Let's keep going. All right, so
And I
Russell,
froze.
cover why we were in communicados there.
Wow, this is a technical fun evening.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Now I can't. No. You're freezing on me.
Wow.
Keep talking, Russell.
Okay, so I'm going to call our friend Craig Hilliard and have him call.
Oh, he's in the chat. All right. So let's go on with headlines.
Okay, let's go into headlines.
All right.
Hang on 1 second.
Oh, hi there. So the state legislature of Utah passed a bill that will require all cell phones sold in Utah to have a filter that will prohibit the receiving of pornography. First, they came for the porn, and I said nothing. Then they came for
Hey, how are you?
and I realized I gotta move. Utah
Oh
is
God.
Russell, I hear you. Russell, I'm hearing you. Then they came for the child brides, and I realized I gotta move. Utah is what? No alcohol, no caffeine, and now no porn? No wonder everyone's got 7 wives. How else are straight people supposed to keep it exciting? Seriously, how do you people do it? Anyway, apparently the government of China tested people for COVID with an anal swab. And these tests were performed on United States diplomats. And they were offended. Officials for China say tests were done in error. Oops, I don't buy it. Is this where Ashton Kutcher, or for you older folks, Alan Funt has been? Working for the Chinese government on an international version of Candid Camera or Punked? FYI, Alan Funt died in 1999, so if you knew who he was, you're probably close to joining him. President Biden still feels so good to say. President Biden was upset Republicans by criticizing some conservative governors for Neanderthal thinking. These governors were the ones who are rescinding their state's mask mandates. Okay. Now, Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee said, this one's for you, Karen in Memphis. Neanderthals are hunter-gatherers, protectors of the family. They're resilient. No, Marsha, Neanderthals weren't resilient. They're extinct. Meanwhile, Senator Little Marco Rubio tweeted, President Biden's use of an old stereotype is hurtful to modern Europeans, Asians, and Americans who inherit about 2% of their genes from Neanderthal ancestors. So now the GOP is claiming Neanderthals. Finally, we agree on something. I didn't know Rubio was allowed to believe in Neanderthals existed. They're not in the Bible. Hey, little Marco, now your constituents know that you believe in evolution. And finally, how many of you said, I can't wait to travel? Well, there's going to be a hotel in space, possibly as soon as 2027. Gateway Corporation, a new construction company, is going to build a space hotel that will orbit the Earth. And I thought cruise ships were bad. Can't wait for an outbreak of food poisoning in zero gravity. Now, don't get me wrong. The Star Trek fan in me is elated that this might happen. But I also know how stupid people are on vacation, and this will end with 2 drunk Americans having sex in the airlock and accidentally jettisoned out into space. And if you're in Utah, you won't be able to see it in pay-per-view. And that's this week's headlines. All right. Russell, do you want to check in to see if we're okay?
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, and there I am on screen, so it sounds like you're working again. So that was a bumpy start.
Oh, gosh, I apologize to the viewers and the guests. That has never happened.
The magic of live TV.
Ooh,
All
yes,
right, well,
yes,
enjoy the show.
All right, did you talk about the guests?
Actually, that's a good point. We did not introduce the guests yet.
Oh my goodness,
we have some amazing guests tonight.
Yes. We're going to be talking about the LGBTQ life of Pennsylvanians tonight.
Yes, and that brings us to our first guest will be Sean Meloy from the Vistory Fund, who's going to have lots of great information for you about what's going on. And then we have 3 returning guests, all of whom are now becoming old friends quickly.
Yes.
We have Representative Brian Sims, Representative Jessica Benham, and the second lady of Pennsylvania, Gisele Fetterman. So it's going to be a packed show.
Oh, it's going to be fun. And also we have Pass the Tea, the RuPaul Drag Race recap coming up at the end of the show as well. So lots to see.
And don't forget Rocco.
No, how could I forget Rocco? He'll be here too. All right, Russell, thank you for working on
Have a great show.
Oh, it can only go up, that's for sure. Yes, as Russell said, we've got a great lineup of guests tonight, and we're going to talk about Pennsylvania. Now, why Pennsylvania? Well, it's a pretty big state, and if you recall, back in November, it played an important part in national politics and what's going on now in the world. So we decided to let's talk about it and find out more. All right, so our first guest is Sean Meloy from the Vistory Fund. Sean, come on in my basement here. Hello there, Sean.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I think I'm better now. That's a little rough there for start. Okay, now, Sean, you're calling us from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you're with the Vistory Fund. I know I've gotten a lot of emails from the Vistory Fund, but can you tell me what the Vistory Fund is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the Vice President of Political Programs at the LGBTQ Vistory Fund, and we are the only organization in the entire country that is dedicated to electing openly LGBTQ people to public office at every level and every state across the United States. And so you have some of our amazing endorsees coming up next, but our goal is to make sure that our population is effectively represented in government.
All right, so you're not just for Pennsylvania, you're for the entire country.
Absolutely. My day job is doing the LGBTQ Vistory Fund stuff, and then I'm the chair of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party's LGBTQ caucus. So they dovetail a lot of the time, but the Vistory Fund works across the entire country.
So what did you see as successes in the past election in November?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a record increase in the amount of state legislators. You have two of Pennsylvania's great state legislators coming up, but one of those increases was Jessica Benham, but 18% increase overall. There's over 180 legislators, I believe now. For the first time ever, a majority of LGBTQ legislators are women. And we have in 25 states and territories, almost half the United States, an LGBTQ person in all the chambers in state government. And so we have Pennsylvania isn't one of them, sadly, but almost half the country now has representation in each chamber of the legislature.
I know in Vermont, we have two state senators who are a part of that caucus, and we have 11 state representatives of the LGBTQ community, including our good friend Taylor Small, who was the first transgendered person to be elected to the state legislature. So, like I said, we've got like 13 between the two houses here in Vermont. What's it like in Pennsylvania? What's the total number?
We still have some work to do in Pennsylvania. We have the second largest legislature, over 200 people, and we only have 3. And so, the new data just came out from Gallup that said that we're 5.6% of the population. So we should have at least the numbers you have in our state house. And we've never had anyone openly elected to the state Senate in Pennsylvania. So we've got a long way to go.
Now, have there been candidates and they just weren't elected?
Yeah, so a lot of times when candidates step up, they are not necessarily embraced as the traditional candidate, right? And so they normally have to win their primary. There's a little bit of a good old boy network in all parts of Pennsylvania that they have to kind of, make sure that they beat. And so, Brian's done that, Jessica, faced adversity right here in Pittsburgh, sadly. And we have that to surmount. But we are working to help make sure that more people are elected to local office so that they can then run for state office. And we've got a ton of those folks stepping up to run just right now.
So when you say local offices, what kind of offices are you talking about?
This is school boards, city councils, county councils. We've got an amazing candidate that's running for Erie County Executive, Tyler Titus, one of the only trans men elected in the entire country. And he's on the Erie School Board right now. And they're looking to run for county executive in the swing county of the swing state of Pennsylvania. And so that kind of representation is exactly what Vistory Fund works to help achieve.
So what do you see about the problems with the voter suppression? Have you been working with any of those initiatives?
I think part of this is that the LGBTQ community needs to be identified, right, in data points. We're going to get some data in the new census coming up. And I think that, the Gallup poll I mentioned shows that we are a substantial part of the population. And so we need to be targeted. We need to make sure that the resources are coming in to register LGBTQ voters, to make sure that they're aware of these efforts to dismiss and discount their votes, like so many other people that aren't agreeing with conservative ideology.
So what were you doing before you took a job with the Vistory Fund?
Yeah, I was actually the LGBTQ outreach director at the Democratic National Committee.
Oh, how exciting is that? And I'm sure you know some of our friends, Terry Anderson from Vermont, and a few other people as well. Well, so how can people help you, Sean?
Well, firstly, if you're interested in running for office, go get trained and go run for office. We have, only less than 1,000 elected people in the entire United States. We have run the numbers at 5.6% of the population. We need to have over 29,000 people just to have our basic representation in government. And so would love for you to go get trained. You can go to victoryinstitute.org to find out about trainings, and then tell people about Vistory Fund. If you're an LGBTQ candidate in the United States, please be in touch with us because we want to help you succeed.
All right, there we have your address right up there, so people can go find more information. Click the donation button there and help you out to help us out. Well, thank you very much, Sean. We appreciate your work. And in our earlier talk, you talked about coming to Vermont. Let me know when you're coming.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. All right. So if you have any information, I know there's people out there saying, maybe I'd like to run for city council, or even if you run for something like justice of the peace or some school board, those are all important positions in your community. So go to Vistory Fund and find out about the information. All right. So our next guest, we're going to get a little more into Pennsylvania politics by a returning guest, State Representative Brian Sims from Philadelphia. Brian. All right. And I can't hear you, Russell.
Oh, now I know the reason on that one. Now you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes. I think Brian has stepped out to get himself a refill at the moment, so you might have to go with Jessica first.
All right. We'll go to Jessica. All right.
All right. It's that kind of evening.
All right. It's some sort of moon. All right. Hi, Jessica. All right. Let's refresh people why we talked to you the first time. Why were you on our show back in October?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I think back in October, we were talking about my race to become the first out woman who is a member of the LGBTQ community to be elected to the state legislature in Pennsylvania.
That's right. So there's you and Brian, and there was another gentleman elected.
Malcolm Kenyatta. Yes, Malcolm Kenyatta, who is now running for senator of Pennsylvania as well. Yeah, so it's exciting that there's three of you now. That's almost you could have a little caucus. Though I will echo Sean's point as well, because with Brian running for lieutenant governor and Malcolm running for senator, I could very well be alone, and we can't have that. I can't go from having my two big brothers in the state house to being alone. So if you are a Pennsylvanian thinking about running for state house, please step up. You can't leave me all alone.
So what has been the reaction to your election? What have you heard from people?
These are interesting times to be elected for the first time. One of my staff members had worked for my predecessor, and she said to me, it's literally never been like this. And she's worked for my predecessor for over 20 years. And so to be in this moment where there are so many different demands on the state level, whether that's fixing our broken unemployment system or making sure that people get the vaccines that they need. For the most part, people are just excited that I've stepped up to do the work. And I think that's what I found so fulfilling, because for so long as a queer activist, it's all about fighting to have the voices of our community heard. And so to now be in a place where I have the tools to help my community, that's been really exciting.
So have you gotten any feedback or some splashback from people saying, oh, she's just going to represent those people and she's not going to represent our community as a whole?
Not necessarily. There's always online bullying, right? But for the most part, the interactions that I have with my constituents are really positive. And I think that's because they see that I'm already fighting for our whole community.
So are you grooming anyone to run for other offices? And how would you go about that? Do you have anybody in mind?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, as a representative from my local area, it's really hard for me to look across the state and say, this is somebody who should run in this area. Because I think it's up to each local area for those people to step up and decide for themselves, or to hear that call from their community to step up and serve. So I don't know that I have anybody in particular in mind right now. I'm really focused on our super local races. I've got a school board candidate that I'm really excited about. I've got some borough council candidates that I'm really excited about. But definitely, as we get closer to 2022, I'll be keeping my ear out for anybody who's thinking about running.
Well, I think you're a great example of someone saying, I'm going to run, I'm going to be out, and succeeding. And you survived, both politically and physically. So that's great. So are there any, okay, let's hone in on our community. Are there any issues that you really want to push?
Yeah, so Pennsylvania does not have statewide non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ people. And so that's something that, together with Brian and Malcolm and with another great ally legislator, Dan Frankel, the four of us have a bill that would create those non-discrimination protections. So I know we're all really excited about that. Malcolm Kenyatta and I are working on a bill together that would allow us to collect data about our community on the state level, because right now it's hard for us to say which state services members of our community are accessing the most, because we just don't collect that data. So we've got a bill that would create kind of an optional checkbox for people to say that they're part of our community on government forms. Brian Sims and I are working on a bill to ban conversion abuse at the state level. And we're also working on a bill that would create a comprehensive LGBTQ inclusive sex education curriculum. So there's a lot of things that we're working on. And I think the most exciting thing for me is how collaborative it has been. When we're fighting for our community, we're really doing it together as a united front.
Very good. All right, Jessica, I'm going to send you back to the green room. We'll bring you back and we'll talk with Brian. We'll be right back with you. Thank you very much, Jessica. Good to see you. All right. I think Brian's back. So, hey, Brian.
Hi, Amber, and I'm sorry about that. And although I'm glad that you got to start with Representative Benham. Isn't she incredible?
Yes, she is. No, I fell in love with her back in October when we talked. All right. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you again. How are you doing?
All right. So when we talked last, I believe it was in October, you were running for re-election as state representative for your 5th term, and you won.
I did.
And at the time, I mentioned to you that I was aware that there were several open political seats happening in Pennsylvania in 22, and you were just very coyly saying, "Oh yes, it's a great opportunity for some people," and all this and all. You knew then that you were going to run for lieutenant governor, didn't you?
Well, I'll tell you, it was certainly something that I was thinking about back in October. Although, as you pointed out at the beginning of this broadcast, Pennsylvania is one of those states, like Georgia, like North Carolina, like Texas, that the entire country is watching politically, and that has never been truer than it was in November and December of this last year. And so, the attention that Pennsylvania draws and why it draws that attention also had played a big factor in me deciding to announce that I was running for lieutenant governor.
Very good. So you ran for Congress a few years ago.
I did, back in 2015, back in 2014, 2015.
So you've run other campaigns other than for your representative job. What are the challenges are you going to have as running for lieutenant governor?
Well, the obvious challenge is running a race that is statewide. Pennsylvania has 67 counties. I represent downtown Philadelphia, but making sure that that voters in all four corners of the state, from Erie to Scranton to Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, get an opportunity to hear from me directly. Pennsylvania is one of those states for the better part of 200 years. People have come and knocked on your door and said, "Hey, are you happy with your representation? And maybe I can do better." And so that's a challenge. It's also something that I'm pretty excited about. I get out and about in Pennsylvania a lot, and so I'm looking forward to doing it in this capacity.
So I know in different states the responsibilities of the lieutenant governor are different. What are the main responsibilities of the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania?
Well, and first of all, thank you for asking. A lot of people don't ask, and the truth is, no one is really supposed to know what the lieutenant governor does, in part because it varies wildly, as you'll hear from Gisele Fetterman in a little bit. The primary duties, aside from some oversight of the Senate, are to oversee some commissions that the governor serves on, as well as the lieutenant governor. But one of the great things that we learned especially from this lieutenant governor, from John Fetterman, is that the lieutenant governor's office can be used very successfully as a way to sort of gather the policy data, gather the energy of the electorate around the Commonwealth in a way that it really hadn't been done before. Our governors walk a significantly more moderate line, I'll say, oftentimes than this state really would have it were it not for gerrymandering. And something that we saw from Lieutenant Governor Fetterman was an ability to go to neighborhoods and communities around the Commonwealth and ask them how they felt about a number of what are otherwise progressive issues. And in doing so, was able to bring those issues both back to the governor's mansion, but also reinvigorate the discussion at the legislative level. And that's something that I'm really excited to get to do.
All right. So how do you manage that, being a state representative and running a statewide campaign? That has to stretch you pretty thin there, Brian.
Well, as most candidates will tell you, one of the ways you're able to do this is with experience. I'm going on my 10th my 10th year as a legislator in Pennsylvania. I've run 6 different campaigns, as you pointed out earlier, given the additional one for my congressional race. I have a fantastic staff, a really phenomenal team. I am going to have, perhaps, I hope, the best legislative term of my entire career this year. I have a number, probably 17, 18 bills that have already been introduced in the first few months. I chair a couple of key caucuses within the legislature. And so, the way you do this is I think the way that I both got myself elected to the job and that I've done the job. It's with a lot of collaboration and a lot of hard work.
All right. So has anyone else announced that they're running for lieutenant governor?
No. And although I've heard rumblings about a number of people in the state that are interested in it and considering it. And, it's, as I tell people, as somebody who represents one of the areas where the rules for modern American representative democracy were written, I'm excited about campaigns. They're not always fun, and they can be pretty grueling. I say that as a Philadelphian. But an opportunity to go statewide and to talk to people about the things that matter the most to me: racial and ethnic justice, LGBTQ civil rights, women's and reproductive rights, education funding. All of those things are really critically important. And they are things that, frankly, our state and the citizens of our state handle significantly better than my legislative colleagues in Harrisburg do.
That's fantastic. Now, we got a question from one of our guests from last week and said, love to see you, Governor of Pennsylvania. Please let us know what we can do to help you with that election. How could we do that, Brian?
Well, Amber, thank you for asking that. And thank you to Jason for asking the question. I have a website like all candidates do. It's sims4pa, the number 4pa.com. And there's an opportunity there to sign up to receive a lot of the mail, a lot of the stuff that we'll be pushing out for people to sign up. The way that I'm going to be able to do this is to go to all four corners of the Commonwealth. And whether that means, meeting people at coffee shops or in their living rooms, I'm going to need a lot of help doing this. And so my hope is that during these months, while we're still sort of, under the shroud of COVID-19, that we're building that base. And then in the fall, Jason's going to get a phone call from me saying, "Hey, did you really mean it?" And I'm on my way.
Don't tease. Don't tease, Jason. He'll be sitting by his phone. No, you'll have to check last week's show. Jason was one of our guests, and we talked about the adult entertainment industry.
He also asked me what I went and made, and I didn't make it. I just poured myself a glass of white wine.
Probably a Pennsylvania wine, I'm sure. That's
Of course.
So you said no one has announced. Do you see some opposition coming up, like from the Republican Party?
Well, so one of the unique things about a race like mine is that in Pennsylvania, the lieutenant governor runs separately in a primary than the gubernatorial candidates. And then the winning lieutenant governor candidate and gubernatorial candidate for each party run together on a ticket. And so for now, what Republicans are doing and why they're doing it, while it doesn't baffle me, it's certainly not something that I'm going to pay attention to prematurely. And so that's something they're going to kind of do separately. My job is to make sure that Democrats in Pennsylvania know and understand who I am and what I believe in and sort of what I've done with those beliefs.
So who's running for governor in Pennsylvania right now?
Well, I don't think that there is a declared candidate yet for governor. There are a lot of people that could run for governor. I look at the potential field, and I'm not going to do that thing where I name them all because that's not fair to any of them. But I will tell you that Pennsylvania does not hurt for really quality Democratic leadership at the statewide level.
That's exciting, very exciting. So I want to bring Jessica back. I'd like you two to talk about some of the projects you're working on, and what do you see that maybe you can't accomplish this year, but in the future that you see that Pennsylvania members of the LGBTQ community need. So I'll let you guys talk it out there.
Well, so Amber, there are the LGBT Equality Caucus right now in the legislature. It keeps an eye on and has either introduced or is many of us are prime or co-sponsors of over 25 pieces of legislation. And one of the things that Jess has done a really serious job of doing just in these first few months already is reminding all of us how many pieces of legislation that go through the legislature that have an impact on LGBTQ people that may not say the words LGBTQ in the bill. Raising the minimum wage is an LGBTQ issue. Parity between mental and physical health issues and insurance is an LGBTQ issue. And Jess makes a point regularly during our meetings of talking about sort of LGBTQ adjacent legislation.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've really appreciated about Brian is his willingness to think about the ways in which all of our success, all of our liberation is bound up together. That we can't have LGBTQ civil rights without also thinking about rights for Black and Brown people. That we can't have justice for disabled people without thinking about justice for LGBTQ people, and so on and so forth. And so that's been, I think, really exciting, those conversations that we've had. Earlier I mentioned some of the specific bills that we're working on together. It has been really rewarding to do those things. And I would also say that there's definitely legislation currently in our state legislature that we're really concerned about, that we're keeping an eye on as LGBTQ people, whether that's bills specifically targeting our community or bills that could have a potential impact on all of Pennsylvania, and certainly an even more negative one on us. I think, for example, about the judicial gerrymandering bill, which could create a court system, a statewide court system in Pennsylvania with a conservative gerrymander. It could have a substantial impact not only on LGBTQ rights, but also on the rights of all marginalized people. So I would say those are some things that we're definitely thinking about.
So here in Vermont, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have 11 state representatives and 2 state senators. We were the first state to issue civil unions. We were one of the first states to issue marriage equality, and our list of rights for our community is a long one and has been around for quite a while. What are the obstacles in Pennsylvania that you don't have those opportunities?
Jess just mentioned, frankly, that not one of the major obstacle, and I'm going to use Virginia as an example. Amber, Pennsylvania is the last great gerrymandered state in the United States, meaning that because of algorithms and computers and voting power, every 10 years, Republicans in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have been able to draw legislative maps that secure their power more and more and more, even though there are about 800,000 registered more Democrats in the Commonwealth than Republicans. And unfortunately, what that has meant is that oftentimes the most conservative place in Pennsylvania is the Capitol when we're in session. And in really weird ways that the political science still doesn't exactly understand, states that gerrymander tend to pursue the policies, the most aggressive policies of their party. And so for those of us in Pennsylvania, what we see is a tax on trans girls participating in sports, a tax on the trans community receiving health care, 21-week abortion bans. The great gerrymander of Pennsylvania is the obstacle. Now, in Virginia, where they had a similar gerrymander that eventually fell because there was just enough Democrats that were elected, when they were able to remove those mechanisms, what happened was a wave of what would have been progressive legislation 10 years ago, but now is just catching up, respecting and protecting all the people within the Commonwealth of Virginia in their case, making sure that everybody had equal access to insurance, to education, to health care, that they were able to participate and frankly, in almost a Republican way, kind of pay into the system. And that's the kind of thing that's keeping Pennsylvania back. Now, almost like Virginia, there's a chance that we're going to overcome that gerrymander just by the sheer numbers of Democrats that vote in Pennsylvania. There is not a person there's not a member of the Republican leadership in Pennsylvania in either chamber that wouldn't be in the minority party if they were legislators at all under a fair, just constitutional system.
Wow. Ohio, you might want to consider Ohio as one of those gerrymandered states.
Yeah, Wisconsin, North Carolina. I mean, we've really seen the damage of what gerrymandering could do. In Barack Obama's 7th State of the Union, he brought up the impact of state gerrymandering and just how much effect it has on what we all think of as our sort of day-to-day rights. And as Jess has pointed out a number of times, in a Commonwealth where she and I don't even have among the most basic civil rights, it's not she and I that are suffering the most. It's people that have significantly less resources than we do. It's people who are first and second generation immigrants who are members of the LGBTQ communities, who are people of color, and certainly trans people that are bearing the brunt of this inequality.
Jessica, what would you like to add?
I mean, I think that Brian really hit the nail on the head, that gerrymandering is the biggest obstacle. But certainly I would also say, too, that the very conservative tilt of the Republican Party here in Pennsylvania isn't even reflective of Pennsylvanian Republicans as a whole. Because we know that Republican, Independent, or Democrat, people in Pennsylvania support LGBTQ rights overwhelmingly. And so, gerrymandering aside, we also see these hyper-conservative Republicans who are not reflective of even Republicans as a whole. And I think that contributes as well. But certainly the harmful impacts of the policies that they are pushing impact me and impact Brian, as he noted, much less than they impact more marginalized members of our community. And I think that's why he and I, we get to the state house and we don't say, hey, there's 3 of us, it's good enough. We turn around and we look behind us and we say, who else should be here who isn't here yet? And then we work along with folks like Sean from Vistory Fund to have a more representative and reflective democracy in Pennsylvania. And I apologize for the screaming cat in the background. I swear he's fine. He's been he just wants attention.
Don't we all? All right. Well, I want to thank both of you for coming in tonight. Thank you so much. It's really been educational to us. We want to make sure that Jessica's address is right up there. I want to put Brian's up there as well for those who'd like to help Brian in his pursuit of the lieutenant governorship. Both of you are invited to come back anytime you'd like to. And Brian, I'll see you in P-Town.
Yes, you will, Amber. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for continuing to push these issues. I was pleased that you spoke to Sean Meloy earlier on about the Vistory Fund. As Jess pointed out, anybody that's out there right now that's thinking you can do a better job than your elected officials, you might be right. And if you're LGBTQ, there are a lot of organizations and there's a lot of organizational help for you. So start with the Vistory Institute and the Vistory Fund.
All right. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Amber.
Bye. Oh, my goodness. Wasn't that fun and interesting? Hey, Russell.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can see you.
Yay. Oh, my goodness. We seem to be moving along more smoothly now.
Oh, my, wasn't that a great conversation?
That was fantastic. That was really a wonderful conversation. And unfortunately, I get so busy that I have to go back and watch them again tomorrow just to catch up on all the details. But that sounded really, really cool. And I do want to go back and listen to the whole thing, which people can do on our YouTube channel at any time. It will be up there pretty much as soon as the show's over.
All right. So do we have a word from our sponsor?
We have a few things to talk about tonight, including a word from our sponsor. The first of which is that this is the last night for our giveaway. So if you'd like to sign up to try to win this mug, you can just by going to amberlive.tv, and you can take a chance and try to win that mug. It's very easy. And then I do want to remind people about the bustiers. We would love to have your help. It's Venmo at RJD Pro. It keeps us rolling along. And now we have a word from our sponsor.
Hey, it's Lucy Bell. Have you visited the Amber Live store to get your own amazing Amber Live merch? Just visit amberlive.tv and you can see all the incredible items we have for you. Regular coffee mugs, large coffee mugs, and even magic coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, tote bags, and even beach towels. Y'all, they make great gifts for your friends. I've got mine. Just visit the Amber store at amberlive.tv and order yours today.
When was she in my basement? Yeah, I got mine. She snuck into my basement.
Into your basement. She sneaks in and films late at night.
Ooh,
I do want to tell people that is scary. Yes, I do want to tell people one special thing, and we had a special request from a viewer, and he sent us a picture of the results of that special request. We now have Amber Live pillows, so if you're interested in some throw pillows, they come in 3 different sizes. That's our friend Larry with the largest size, and you can order them. They're 3 sizes and 3 colors. So you too can sleep with your head on Amber's face. So
why not? Why
not?
All right.
Well, have a great rest of the show, Amber.
All right. See you later. All right. So let's go back to Pennsylvania, okay? A couple of months ago, we had the distinct pleasure of having the Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania and his lovely, charming, independent wife, Gisele, on as guest. And we have Gisele back tonight. Gisele Fetterman, come on in. Hello there.
Hi, Amber. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So I'm sure you listening to the earlier show with Brian and Jessica.
How lucky are we in Pennsylvania? I mean, to have them. Also, not some great ones, but we do have some great ones like Jess and Brian.
But it gives you hope, doesn't it? The sincerity and the strive. So, since we last spoke, your husband has decided to change jobs. In times of COVID, who would think about changing a job? But your husband wants to go from lieutenant governor to United States senator. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm not, it's well known that I'm not a fan of politics. I think politics is mean and I'm not, so it's hard for me. But, I think if you have a gift or a talent that can make lives better, it is your duty to do so. And he can. So, of course, I support him.
Well, that's exciting. And there is someone else running, at least one other person running against him, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be others as well.
But he was right out there first, and also got a big boost for donations, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one for me. All right, so you're not just a meek, mild woman behind the scenes. You get out there as well. And you were talking to earlier about how the Diocese of Pittsburgh's a little concerned with you. Could you tell us about that?
No, we've straightened it out. Just some confusion around the vaccine. I'm very vocal about, please protect yourselves. Please wear a mask. Please distance. If you are able to get the vaccine, please do. So there was just some confusion around that, but it's been straightened out.
Okay. So how is the COVID situation in Pennsylvania?
It's, the numbers are the lowest they've been. So we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Teachers have just now moved up in the list. So our teachers are getting vaccinated. We've helped locally a lot of, seniors who wouldn't have access to a computer. It was a challenge in the beginning. getting them scheduled. But I think we're starting to move in a good direction now.
So has the state opened up any, or what's the social situation there, or pretty much everything closed?
So the governor just lifted some of the restrictions. So the travel restriction has just been lifted. We're still all playing it safe, but I think now it feels hopeful. Whereas, a year ago today, it was, can you imagine it? I think a year ago today was the last event that I attended publicly. It showed up in my stories. And I miss everything. I miss faces and hugging people. And
Oh, I know. It was a year ago this weekend that Lucy Bell and I appeared in a local production. And it just seems
last show, right? That was at the
last show. Yes. And it was funny because there were whispers around about the virus at that time too. Someone had just come back from a trip, and we're going, "Oh, do we need to get close to them?" And so,
And I remember my son's coming home and saying, "Mom, that wouldn't come to America, right?" And he was like, "Of course not." And to think about how the world has changed since.
And I think a lot of things for the better. I think we've learned a lot, and we've had to push ourselves to do new things like this. And I think some things are going to be better than what they were before. It's just too bad that everything else kind of sucked as well. So someone's asking about your food charity that you talked about the last time. Bring us up to date on that.
Sure. Yeah, the free store is doing great. We continue to expand to different locations. It's been hard during the pandemic seeing kind of our new customers. In some cases, they were donors who then became customers because the pandemic hit them in a different way. And it was hard seeing that.
So back up. Tell us what the food store is.
Sure. So Free Store 15104 was the country's first free store where families can come for anything from formula to diapers to food to clothing, shoes, accessories, toys. It's no questions asked. You don't have to fill out forms. It's just this kind of loving, welcoming space that's there to help your neighbors. And what we've seen during the pandemic is that previous donors have since become shoppers at the store. It's shown how the pandemic has really hit folks who never thought they would be in this place.
Right.
And those that were already in that place are much deeper in that place. So it's been hard, but we continue to support our families and keep doing the work.
So how many stores do you have in the state?
So we're opening our 10th next month.
And you go to local grocery stores and say, "Hey, give us what you got."
Right. We establish partnerships. We learned that a lot of food is wasted at the grocery store level, at the restaurant level. So we work to build those relationships and rescue that food. So instead of it being discarded, ending up in a landfill, polluting our air, it instead is used to feed families.
Well, that is so good, and it's a program that should be copied elsewhere. So what are some of your other interests and things that you fight for?
Yeah, I fight for anyone who needs fighting. I really care about those that are most vulnerable, whether that looks like women, that looks like immigrants, that looks like people of color. This community, it looks like whoever needs that support. And those are the folks I really want to talk to and support. And I was a young immigrant. I remember what that was like. I remember not having hope a lot of the time. So I tried to be there to support those communities.
All right, someone had asked a question. We talked the last time you were on about your husband hanging flags from the balcony of his office there at the State House in Harrisburg. One was the LGBTQ flag. The other was the marijuana flag. And every time he put them up, the people would come, confiscate them, and give them back to you, and it'd be a big circus. And then what happened? What's happened since then?
So since then, they've passed a law to prevent him from flying the flags. So, they've somehow so quickly were able to pass a law to do that, but they haven't been able to pass a law for equal protection under the law to protect the communities. But I think they were able to show that if they really want to pass a law, they can do it very quickly.
So what did your husband do?
We put him back up.
Bigger ones. Bigger ones.
Well, now, and they've taken them down again since, but I'm looking at loopholes, so maybe we can fly a kite. Maybe that is not a flag, right? They'll have to pass a law that says no kites.
I think that's a good one. Or banners.
Or we can just pass a law to protect our community, and then we don't have to fly anything anymore.
I would love to see Lieutenant Governor Fetterman flying a kite. I think that would be that is great. Well, thank you very much, Gisele. And we'll be following your husband's campaign. And when he's available, and anytime you're available and you want to come on and talk, we're always here for you.
Thank you, Amber.
Hey, come to Vermont. I'm looking forward to that too. All right. Okay, Gisele, nice seeing you. Just that nice energy she has. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my, let's see. Oh, so last week we didn't have our segment of Pass the Tea because the RuPaul, episode was kind of boring. It just talked about what they do for COVID. So we gave Sherry and Angel the week off, but they're back this week with Pass the Tea.
Girl, that's hot. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pass the Tea. I am Angela Mansberry.
And I'm Sherry Poppins. And this week, we are reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13, Episode 35.
It's still going. We're still here.
There's still 9 girls remaining so far.
And today we are talking about the Snatch Game, of course.
Snatch Game!
A pinnacle episode of the season. And we thought we'd just have a little fun with our looks today. My look is inspired by one of my favorite cartoon characters, of course, Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus.
Wait, I'm gagged that you have the little lizard!
This is Liz. She's a lesbian.
A lesbian! Oh my gosh, I love that. I was trying to go for Dusty Springfield.
I love this look on you. You look gorgeous.
Hey. Overall, it was a fair snatch, right?
Yeah, good snatch.
Who were some of your tops for it?
I mean, Gottmik nailed it as Paris Hilton. So funny.
It was so meta, right? And it added humor to every joke that she landed. Because not only is it Paris Hilton, it's Paris Hilton with the consciousness of performing Paris Hilton as we know her. You know what I mean? It was brilliant. And then I thought a lot of people did also well, right? Rosé, we both loved Rosé. I even thought Denali did all right as Jonathan Van Ness.
Yeah, I thought Jonathan Van Ness was a great choice, actually. I thought that was a really fun choice for Snatch Game. And I thought, and Rosé playing Mary Queen of Scots, I mean, that was a great risk, but we have to talk about the biggest risk that I thought was such a great payoff, which was Simone playing Harriet Tubman.
Girl, when she was in the workroom and was like, I'm doing Harriet Tubman, I was shocked. And we talked about this earlier, like we both love a risk, like a campy risk. I was nervous for her.
Yeah, that is a risk, but I thought she approached it in such a great way. In a way, it was Mary Queen of Scots and Harriet Tubman were similar approaches because it was a very modern perspective on a historical figure. So they weren't talking from the specific time that they're actually from or had the reference points of those time periods. It was a modern take on it, which was the right way to go. Less successful. Bob Ross, Utica as Bob Ross, did not pull together. I thought Utica's zany humor with the soothing voice of Bob Ross didn't quite mesh together.
Well, she didn't do a soothing voice.
Yeah.
I thought none of the character work nailed the mark. And speaking of American tragedies, let's talk about don't know where that came from. Fucking Rue McClanahan by Elliot with 2 T's was abysmal.
That was a very under-researched Rue McClanahan. When you're doing
I lost my appetite. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I don't like drag anymore. Like I was like, I hate this.
It was just very. It didn't have the wonderful nuance and sultriness that Rue McClanahan requires, and it didn't work. It just didn't work.
I thought everyone else did like average or higher. So overall, I think it was more consistently good than the UK Snatch Game, but that's another chat. Now the runway was Fascinating Fascinators, right? Or something like that?
Yes.
What did you think about the runway?
Once again, Got Mick knows how to make a look. That was a beautiful look with the safety pin and the Swarovski blood dripping from it. I loved the punk rock of it all. Nailed it. That nailed it for me. And I thought Simone's was making such a statement too, in such a beautiful, poignant way with the platform that she has on this show. And she's using it so well.
Yeah, hands down, they were my favorites. Now, going back to my favorite drag queen on this season, Elliot with 2 T's. I think she wore one of the most horrid things I've seen on this runway. And there's been a lot of drag queens that have run this runway now at this point.
That was bad.
That's all I have to say.
It was bad. I mean, I did not understand the beige nude leg. I didn't like that at all. I mean, I just did not like that look. I was also not a fan of Tina's. I understood what she was going for, like a horse race. But for me, if you're going to have a horse head on your head, I want a Godfather reference. That's what I want.
Right. Oh my God, that'd be iconic with like the blood dripping down and the outfit's made out of bed sheets. Mama, that'd be iconic.
That's where my brain, when you're doing a horse head, that's where my brain goes.
Welcome to the stage, everyone. Angela Mansberry.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So overall, a terrible week for some, a great week for others. The winner of the episode was the one and only Got Mick. I think she was super strong in the Snatch game and on the runway. So it's kind of a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And then our bottom 2 were Utica versus Elliot with 2 T's.
And this was a good lip sync. I thought they both did well, but my eye kept going to what Utica was doing. She was making more interesting choices. And I wanted to watch more of her. And then, of course, Utica ended up winning and Elliot went home, which I think was the right choice.
Finally.
And now we can burn pink monstrosity.
I don't support cyberbullying, but when the shoe fits, you know. Anyway, so now only 8 queens remain. Next week, they are making over each other. And of course, we'll be here every week, right, Angela?
That's right. We're here every week to pass some more tea and talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. And thank you so much for joining us. And once again, I am Angela Mansberry.
And I'm Dusty Springfield. Back to you, Amber. Cheers, baby.
Cheers, girl.
Girl, that's hot.
Cheers, girls. Thank you. It's good to see them back. Yes, I love their comments. They watch the show, so you don't have to. All right. Let's see. Who else do we have? I think I see Rocco in my future. Rocco. Oh, cheers to you, Rocco.
Cheers.
Yes. Are you a big RuPaul fan?
No. I don't know what more you want me to say.
I think that says it all, Rocco.
I got nothing against her. I just don't watch Drag Race because, you know, I got other things that are a drag and I'm watching.
Well, what you've had the best, you know? All right.
Exactly. Right.
All right. So, Rocco, what's going on with you this week?
Well, I was just listening to a lot of the stuff that everybody was saying, and I've been thinking a lot lately how this world, not to get emotional, but this world is so much better with the diversity that we have. The fact that people are trying their best to stop it and to keep, as a straight white guy, I'm tired of seeing straight white guys being in charge of shit. It's annoying. It's ridiculous. Because, you know, they're screwing up, so give it a break. So anyway, one thing I noticed about the GOP is that they think they got God on their side. I tend to disagree, all right? God didn't create everybody to say, hey, these people suck. I like these people better. So what I'm going to do right now, I want to lead everybody in a prayer. That's right. I said prayer on the Amber Live show. Everybody out there, Stick with me, all right? We'll see where this shit goes. All right, I was raised Catholic, so hey, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. All right, dear God, it's me, Rocco. How you doing? You remember me, right? Anyway, we talk every now and then. I got things I want to say. I say them to you. Sometimes I'll say them to Amber. But anyway, I just want to say, please, dear God, all those people who are against different people, please open their eyes somehow. All right? Is there a way we could do that? Because there's gay people, black people, Chinese people, whatever. They're all beautiful. Whenever I the subways and I see all different types of people loving each other, holding hands or whatever, I think you did a good job. And you know you did a good job because you put these people here for a reason. And that reason is to make this world better. Now, the people in charge, Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump, all those assholes, pardon me, open their eyes. Do something, all right? Come on. You got all this power. I know you gave us free will and stuff, but there's got to be a way to make things better. All right? Now, Marco Rubio is all believing in the Neanderthals and stuff, so it's a start. Anyway, I'm on a tangent, I know, but please, everybody out there, just say, I want God to bless us all and say hi to Jesus for me, all right? I see him on that cross every now and then. I wave to him, but he doesn't wave back. So, all right, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Did you fall asleep, Amber?
No, I'm still here. I'm still
All right.
here. No, and thank you very much. And I'm sure it was appreciated by many. But you talk about how the GOP thinks that the GOP thinks they have God on their side. This week, I watched a show on Netflix called The Family, and it tells how they brought Jesus into their fold, and they don't care how bad you are. As long as you believe in Jesus, you're going to be okay.
Right? It's crazy the thinking that some of these people have.
And if you're poor, Rocco, that's because God wants you to be poor.
Well, of course. That's why he made all those ministers multimillionaires, because, they had to be. He wanted that.
Rocco, how could we get in on that?
I don't know. I think we need to start the Church of Amber and Rocco. Tax deductible, first of all, or not even. It's tax free.
Communion will be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Damn right. That wine. Here, we replaced the wine with tequila. Come on, have a shot.
Jesus.
Jesus. Hey, he come down and poured himself,
All right, Rocco, got any plans for the week?
I got some things I want to do. I want to research some stuff. I want to start, up in my game, so to speak. Get my YouTube channel going again. That stuff.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
We'd like to show some of that stuff on the show, so get together.
Yeah, it'd be fun, Why not? Right? Hey.
Why not? All right, Rocco, and plus we're still going to think about publishing that book of poetry of yours.
Why not? I think that'd be a great idea. I got so many of them.
Well, write them
Stop
down.
all racism. Damn right.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen, Gary. All right. Hey, you have a good week, Rocco.
You too, Amber. And everybody out there, God bless you. All right?
Thank you very much. We've been blessed by Rocco.
Hey.
That sounds pretty good to me. All right. Hey, Jack.
Hi there.
I can hear you. I can see you.
We made it.
Yes. Boy, I wasn't able to read many comments, but it looked like we had some new commenters this week.
Yeah, we had a lot of people watching this week. We had, and we just had some divine intervention from Rocco, which kind of made me wonder: is it possible to give up atheism for Lent? Just a thought.
Very good.
Just 40 days.
Oh, very good. Now, do you have any favorite comments from tonight that you saw, or?
Oh, well, just now, Janet says that we should turn water into vodka.
Potato water. That's my preference. Yes.
Into platinum vodka.
Yes.
We have Tiny Tim here saying, "God bless you too."
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Allie, for watching and for
Yes,
commenting.
I had a couple comments there.
Ooh, I got an interesting thought about the reverse Lent idea.
and Karen's a good practicing Catholic, so she would have some comments about that as well.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what the rules are. The rules are complicated. We had a comment about the Wednesday Amber Chat, which is a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. I'm sure we'll talk about that earlier. But we had Annie on this week. We had Joshua. We had Larry. And it's a great opportunity. If you have an event coming up, a fundraiser or something for awareness, come on, Amber Chat, and we'll talk about it. That's Wednesday night. So hope to see you there.
We got an email from someone who was watching and wondered how to get in on the chat, but it was really unclear if they wanted to get in on the Amber Chat on Wednesday or if they wanted to just type in a comment here. We don't know who they were, but we would love to hear their comments. So
yes, very good.
Write us questions. If you have any questions for Amber or for any of the guests that we have either leading up to the show in the week or live on the show, you can always ask us, type it in. You can put it in the chat, and I try to put it up on screen as quickly as I can, or you can email us.
I always love seeing past guests write comments, like Jason Bumpus.
Yeah, he was on a roll tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's earlier there in California.
He wanted to give Brian his login info. Or he wanted Brian to have his login info.
Not sure.
I don't know. I have no idea. That's between them. The internet is what it is. Finding people is very easy. I leave it up to you two.
All right, let's bring Russell in. See if he's
Hey, so I did want to. We made it. We can hear each other. I did want to mention, Jack, that the person who sent us the email about finding the chat did get on the chat. That was Gary Buck.
Oh, great
comment you put up at the
end.
Stop the racism. Yes. So
thank you, Gary.
Gary. We're glad you're watching. Sorry you had a little difficulty finding the chat, but apparently you did get through eventually. So we love that.
Well, he was watching on YouTube. He was watching. Looks like he was watching on YouTube, and I have trouble with chat on YouTube sometimes too. I don't know. Go figure.
Technology and Amber are not a good mix.
Tonight was not my problem. It was not my
We don't know what happened tonight. That was weird. It must be a full moon.
Because it worked.
Steve Jobs.
It worked 30 seconds earlier, and I didn't touch or do anything.
Yeah. So, but you were wearing it. So, boom went the technology.
All right. So who do we have coming up next week?
Well, next week we have two great guests. First, we have an actor who has appeared on stage with your alter ego, I believe, Irving Green, and he has also done some stints in TV and probably in some movies. He has been seen on Mad Men. So he's been around quite a bit and around enough to have met or to have met your alter ego anyway. I don't know if he's met Amber yet.
As well. Irving Green was in the production of The Legend of Georgia McBride that the Vermont Stage Company did 2 years ago. Great actor, great guy, and he's going to be a fun guest too.
So yes, and then we have probably our most requested guest. Many people have said, you should have this person on the show. And we have been trying to get this person, and now we have her, and that is Jen Ellis, who is the creator of the Bernie mittens. So next week, you will all get to hear the story of Bernie's mittens and how they came into being and what she's doing with those now to raise a lot of money for great causes. So that'll be a fun show.
Yes. Looking forward to that.
So, yes. So, and then I can't get away without mentioning the bustiers. If you still, it's never too late to give to us at RJD Pro down there at the bottom on Venmo, and we highly appreciate your support. It helps us avoid technical glitches like earlier tonight. So we don't promise, but we will try to figure out what that was and make it go away permanently.
Who knows?
So,
but
Amber, we survived.
If people don't know, I'm in a basement in Burlington, Vermont. Russell's in an apartment in Queens, and Jack's in an apartment in Harlem. And how things get connected, and who knows?
And it's live, so once in a while you get to enjoy the fun. And Craig would like to know if it's our first anniversary yet, and that
Almost.
is just a few weeks away. We will do. Yes, next week will be our 52nd show, and then the week after will be our 53rd show, which will be the Amber Live anniversary special. So, I'm like trying to count through all that. Math is hard tonight. But yes, so we will be having a 1-year anniversary, which will be just fantastic with some great returning guests to give updates to Amber about where they've been and what they've been doing. And thank you, Charlotte, for your understanding.
Charlotte's been after having a Jen on the show, so she'll be very happy.
Great. And yes, we will bring the caption back next week, Charlotte. So all right. Well, have a great night, Russell. Amber.
Have a good night, Jack. Have a good night. Thank you so much. All right. Good to see Russell and Jack and Rael and Gary and everyone who commented tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I didn't know what was going to happen at the beginning, but thank you to Russell again for making all this happen, the magic. So next week, great show with Irving and Jen, and we got a lot more coming up in the next year. So stick around every Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to be here, and I hope you will be too. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
How many vaccine shots will it take to prevent more Amber?
All of them.